going on, good people? It's a beautiful Thursday here, June the 18th, live here on Esports Extra, the only live call-in sports show on Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, and Facebook, talking traditional sports and, of course, esports. We'll take your phone calls live, 877-853-5247, meeting ID Esports Extra. That's 377-678-9872. Go ahead and hit that pound button twice to join the show. Got a great show today, and let's go ahead and bring in all of the co-hosts here live here on Esports Extra. Larry Ridley here, tri-state area in Jersey. We got Duran Worrell. He's across the river. He's in Brooklyn. What part of Brooklyn? Carnoustie?
Canarsie.
Oh, Canarsie. Okay, I like messing with him. Canarsie. Got it. You're not in Williamsburg, man? You're not in, where you at,
man? I'm in Canarsie, just hanging right off of Flatlands Boulevard, staying safe.
Okay, not Park Slope? You're not hanging out with those folks? Okay.
Nah.
Just checking. Of course, across the pond, right over there. And I always point over there like people can oh, it's literally right over the river. We got OG Ivan Curtis down in Manhattan, Lower Manhattan, Upper East Side, Upper West Side. Where you at, man? Hell's Kitchen, talk to me.
East Village, just fresh in from being at the Barclays.
Okay, Barclays. Okay, you were in Brooklyn over there off Atlantic. Good stuff. And then we have a very special co-host today. Young lady down there in the VA, Petersburg, Virginia State University, folks. Stand up. She is Tiara Harrison. Tiara, what's going on, man? Welcome to Esports Extra, baby.
What's up, guys? What's up? It's me.
Welcome.
Hey, you ready to go? You got your big bros with you today. We're talking sports and esports. You ready to go today?
I'm ready. Let's go. What's up?
Okay. You were born ready, right?
Born ready.
All right. I actually met Tiara. I spoke to her graduate class, I believe, down at Virginia State back in February. Also Virginia State alum, Derwin Worrell.
Yes.
Let's go. Trojans in the house.
Derwin has a duo today.
Trojans.
All right, good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and get started, guys. We're talking about Kaepernick. We're talking about Kyler Murray. We're going to talk about Lamar Jackson and the jet ski. Talking about these new COVID helmets. We'll show you some of that as well. The Lakers are heading to the bubble in Orlando. Might be without one or maybe even two players. We'll get into that. Todd Zeal, colleague of mine at SNY TV, former Major League Baseball catcher, third baseman as well. Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, Cardinals. We'll talk to Todd Zeal coming up around 7:30 p.m. Eastern. He'll be calling in. Major League Baseball, the latest proposal, 60 games, 70 games. I don't know. We'll see where they fall at. The start date, we'll get into that. Major League Baseball and the Universal DH, a long time coming. I like that. We'll see where they're heading in that direction. The 2020 Metropolitans, of course, working at SNY. That is our team right there. We'll see what the Mets season looks like. No Noah Syndergaard. If they had Noah, man, I think they'd be right there in the thick of it to get back to the World Series for the first time in 5 years. Renee Montgomery, our permanent co-host, not here today. We'll tell you why she's not here. A big announcement today by Renee Montgomery. U.S. Open, we'll get into that. College football, one game has been canceled. The first college football game to be canceled this year. We'll talk about how that impacts the HBCUs. We'll talk about the NBA 2K tip-off. Good Trouble, the movie, which will be producing the Streamathon, the Celebrity Stream HBCU Takeover. We'll talk about that and, of course, Compete Forever on Black News Channel this weekend live on BNC Saturday and Sunday. All right, guys, let's get started. Kaepernick, there's interest in Colin Kaepernick. You got the Chargers, right? Anthony Lynn, we talked about that. Talking about, of course, he's on this list for emergency workouts. You had Doug Peterson yesterday talking about Kaepernick, of course, would be someone that they could be interested in as well. We've seen Roger Goodell have a mere couple saying that he's now behind and pushing that Kaepernick gets in the league. You see all these players talking about it as well. We'll start with, of course, Derwin, who is not a Cap fan, a Cap antagonist. What are your thoughts on this with the NFL coaches saying, yeah, Cap belongs in the league and he's going to be on our list of players to be in here? All coaches are saying what we all know. He's at least a backup. Your thoughts, Derwin Worrell. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's some nice talk. It's nice talk. But when you talked about the two teams, Anthony Lynn and with the Chargers, could he possibly go there as a backup? Possibly. But I don't see how he could ever get to the number one spot there. And the Eagles, I don't see how he would even crack their lineup. So, I mean, it's nice that the commissioners come out and said that, he's encouraging teams to sign Colin Kaepernick. But when you look at the squads, it's not just about, do you think he's the best out of 64 quarterbacks? You have to look at, is it a right fit? How much is he willing to play for? There's a lot of other variables that go into whether Colin Kaepernick would even get a job or even accept a job. And being that I knew you were going to bring this up, I did a little bit of research.
You
and I
do your research, man.
I looked at all of the backups for every single team.
Okay, here he
and
goes.
The more I
to
looked
him,
at
America.
it,
Here he goes. He's about to do it. Listen.
There's no way that he is going to come and play for $4 million, $3 million, or $2 million.
Okay.
That's not. He's not going to do it.
Crazy. Okay. All right.
The AFC East alone. I think the top. No, let's go to the NFC East.
Okay.
Who's the highest paid backup?
NFC East. Let's see. You got the Eagles. You got the Giants. Cowboys. I don't think they have anybody. Redskins.
And the Redskins.
It's the Cowboys. And it's Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. What is he making? 5, 6, 7?
3 this year.
Well, when incentives, he can get the 5. So yeah. Okay.
Cap ain't playing for that. He's not going to play for that. I mean, you look at the backup money, the money that these backups are making. They're not making any money, Larry.
We know that. We talked about that. And you're right, kind sir. Ivan, get in here. I don't want to do this to him. Ivan, please hop in here. We'll get Tierra in here as well. What are your thoughts? The interest in Cap, is it genuine is what I want to know before he takes us on another rabbit hole we have to go down.
I mean, it's hard to say if it's pure. If it's pure and coming from a pure spot, I mean, and I guess, I mean, I hate this. I mean, the more I hear Derwin, prove his points, I mean, I kind of agree with it to a degree. I mean, our whole argument was, could he play?
Sure.
Could he, or does he at least?
Now, I will give Derwin credit today. He came a little more correctly. He's left the he can't play. He's no good. He's not a second string quarterback. Blah blah blah.
He was in the search bar. He was in the search bar heavy, like.
Until I hit him with 33 guys that he's better than right now. But go ahead, that's a different story.
But no, it's I mean, like I said, that money. I mean, the money part aspect of it. I mean, it makes you look at it totally different. So. I think we know he can play, but is he going to play for what they're paying backups? And I mean, that's a tough draw, especially with everything going on now. So it's going to be interesting.
Tierra, I want to bring in the queen of esports extra today, Tierra Harrison. Yes, she's got her tiara and her crown. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We want to hear from you, baby. What do you think? First of all, I want to get your thoughts. Should he be in the league, and will he be in the league? And is he qualified?
I honestly think Kaepernick should be given the opportunity to be back in the league. But like you said, you don't know if it's genuine. You don't know if they're letting him back because of everything that's going on and what he stands for, or you don't know if they're letting him back because they can actually use him. Like Derwin said, the money. He's not going to come in as a starting quarterback. You've been out the league how many years? It's nowhere you're going to come in as a starting quarterback. Even speaking with Philadelphia, they just picked up Jalen Hurts. You're not going to come in as a starting quarterback. So it's like, if he doesn't get the amount of money he feels like he deserves, he's not going to play. Because look at what he did when he got in trouble for kneeling. He was out. So it's kind of hard to tell if the league or the commissioner is like genuine about the whole letting him come back, or is he just doing it because of everything that's going on with the Black Lives Matter, the protesting and everything that's going on with the police. So that's a good one. Can he do it? I don't know. Colin Kaepernick has been gone out the league for so long. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's been working out, whatever. But then it still faced the fact that he's been going out the league. So it is a question. Can you do it? Is your body still in the shape to be playing football? 13 games, 16, however many games that you will be able to play. So
good point.
It's tricky.
Look at you doing your research and bringing the knowledge here on Esports Extra. That's what I'm talking about. Guys, all very valid points. All of you guys are absolutely correct. And I'm glad that we don't have to go down that rabbit hole. We're not going off on tangents. I don't have to say how crazy Derwin is. I don't have to yell out my window and tell my neighbors I'm on the phone with another crazy guy today. Don't mind me. It's him that I'm mad at. It's not you. But you're absolutely correct. Look, backup money, that's what he's going to be right now. But look, you look at the Chargers. Who's their starting quarterback?
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor. Who exactly? You go to.
He's okay.
He's okay. Just stick there.
He's okay.
You go to Philly. Who's their starting quarterback? Carson Wentz, right?
You go to Jacksonville. Questionable.
Exactly. He's been injured. You go to Jacksonville. Who's their starting quarterback?
Minshew.
Gardner Minshew. Okay, we can keep doing this. New England. Who's their starting quarterback? A guy that's throwing how many passes in the NFL? Jarrett Stidham. 4.
He's
One
not.
went for a
He's
pick.
not going to New England.
No, he's but
New
It's
England's not
I
even.
get where you're
he's not
going.
e-
I get
he's
where
not
you're
even-
going.
But I'm just
with it.
saying
Yeah.
what I'm saying, there are options out there. Get into camp, get into a good situation. It's kind of like
Not an
Cam Newton.
option.
Get it.
Larry,
No,
that's
there's
not.
32
Hold on,
Larry,
there's no team that he can
No,
go.
no, no,
See,
no, no.
Derwin, now,
No, listen,
Derwin,
listen,
don't do
listen,
this.
Larry.
No,
Listen,
don't do it.
listen,
Don't do it,
listen,
Derwin.
Larry.
Okay.
You're bringing up teams where there are no option. There are no options
What do you
in the
mean
whole.
there's no option?
Let me
They have-
finish.
Have a
Let me
backup for
finish.
bombs.
Be realistic. No, you can't go by that, Larry. There is no option in New England. Absolutely zero. We want to know why? Because the Belichick is.
That's New England. What about
Belichick-
what about LA? What about Philly? What
Well,
about
you're forgetting-
what about
you're
Baltimore?
forgetting-
What
you're
about
forgetting-
Washington?
Let
What
me
about
finish.
Jacksonville? What about Houston? What about the Raiders? I mean, I just gave
Again-
you 7 or 8 teams.
No, those are not options. Some of them are not options.
What do you mean they're not options? They
Listen,
have no
If you
backup.
let me speak,
the
I'll
backup
let you
in
know
Jacksonville?
why they're not options.
Okay.
LA is not an option because you forget that they drafted their quarterback of the future already and with the Chargers, the kid out of Oregon. So he's not cracking that lineup. And Lynn had already.
He's
Lynn
a
had-
rookie. He's a long term. He's a project. He ain't starting this
He
year.
ain't no project in the first round.
Oh, okay. You talking
Come
about
on, you
okay.
kidding
I'm
me?
sorry. I'm sorry. Which LA team? I'm sorry. I had to. Okay.
Okay.
All right,
So
yeah,
that's not an
Chargers, yeah.
option.
Yeah.
He's not an option in New England.
And you talking about
because
Justin, the quarterback. For
They
Oregon.
already got that. They passed on everybody they could have picked up for a backup. And Cam's still sitting out there.
Yeah.
He's not going to the
Well,
Ravens.
Cam is a special, but okay, the Ravens don't have a backup.
Yes,
Washington,
they
he can go
do.
there.
He's not going to the Ravens.
Who's the Ravens backup?
If you're listening, and let me tell you, he's not going to the Ravens because RG3 is there.
Oh my God.
Now, okay.
Oh, my
now
God.
You have
Oh, my
listen.
And I love RG3, but stop.
The disgust,
Listen,
dirty.
Listen. His old guy is
Okay.
there, and Roman is there. But you have to remember
All
when
right.
he had a chance to go there
We're not going to
before,
do this. We're not going to
he
do this.
screwed it up.
We're not going to
He's
do this.
not
What do you
going
mean
to the
screwed it
Ravens.
up. Okay. Yeah, in Baltimore. I thought you meant like San Fran. Look, Derwin, you're right. There are 32 teams.
You keep saying I'm right, but you're arguing with me.
No, but you're right on one thing, which is where's his heart? We don't know where his heart is. That's true. But
You don't love the game.
Well,
He
okay,
don't
well,
love-
just
he
stay
don't
there.
love it.
If you stay there, I'll be quiet because that is an open question. But to say that none of the 32 teams can use his services, that's
I didn't say none.
I mean, when
I'm
you
Okay,
saying-
so
say-
I named 8 teams. Can you go to one?
the one-
and
the
none of those
one-
names run bells like at all.
Yeah. I mean, I
No.
It's just not fantasy football. You can't just put him on any team because you
no,
think
but
the
if
backup is
Nathan
not
Peterman
good.
can throw 5 picks and get another start and then go to another team, and Brian Hoyer can move around for 12 years, do nothing. I mean,
That's
look
all
at these
I'm saying.
quarterbers. I mean, stop, dude.
Would
I
you
mean,
bring in
literally
the
just
David,
fitting.
you know what? Here's the order: Immortal David Fails. Great last name, because that's
He's
what he's done
terrible.
in the National Football League. Is
He's
fail.
terrible. He's
Okay,
terrible.
so Colin Kaepernick can get into some camp and at least be a backup somewhere. And maybe if the cards go his way, the chips fall in his direction, maybe he gets a start somewhere, right?
Yeah, somebody gets COVID. Yeah, possibly.
Oh boy, here he goes. Let's move on. We can't do this. I can't. with
Next
him.
topic.
Next topic. Let's move on. He's a Kaepernick hater.
Big hater.
He got a good point.
We had to go to COVID.
That's what I'm saying. He got to get on the
Next
field
topic.
somehow.
If you got to use COVID to win,
Right.
go ahead. Like,
Let's pick up the pace a little bit because we got Todd Zill coming calling in at 7:30. Speaking of quarterbacks and black quarterbacks, running quarterbacks that can throw as well. Kyler Murray last year played with the Arizona Cardinals. What was he, offensive rookie of the year, if I'm not mistaken? I want to get
Yeah.
your thoughts on him saying that, look, he is kneeling and he clapped back at someone as well on Instagram as well. He also said, not only am I kneeling, I'm standing up for my rights. We'll start with you, Tiara. Let you get in here with this.
I don't know. I don't know if Kyle is doing it for attention or is he really doing it because that's just something that because to me, Kaepernick, when he started it, it's something that he really strongly believes in. So when you got these guys in the league backing him up, which is great, but I just really hope that they're doing it for the right reason and not like just to get attention. You get what I'm saying?
Sure. I don't know if I think he's definitely doing it for the right reason. He's a black
Okay.
guy. He's been affected
right.
by this. And he talked about, this being a seminal moment in our history. And he wants to do right. And I like the fact he's like, I'm using my platform and damn it, I don't care. People say, oh,
Well, that's
not going
great.
to support you. You're not going to get money. He's like, I don't care. I believe in doing the right thing. Your thoughts?
It's great. Like I think it's great if you're doing. Like I think it's great if you're doing it for the right reasons. Like if you really, really believe it and you're really hurt about what's going on, especially the Black men in America, do it. Forget your because you got some people who are not speaking out because they think it's going to ruin their social media platform. So I think it's dope that he is actually willing to do it. I'm a kneel and I'm standing up for my rights. That's dope. And I hope everybody else who believes in it in the league joins him as well, just like people were doing when Kaepernick was doing the same thing.
Sure. And let's go to OG. You look at it, OG, second year in the league. He's got a good contract. The Cardinals are not going to throw him overboard. He's a pretty good talent. I don't care what any of these IG, Twitter trolls
whatever.
say.
Yeah.
He is one of the top 30 quarterbacks on earth. So he's going to be a starter. You can talk about his height, which they were trying to do. It's like, all right, you can talk about how short he is. He got long money. I bet you like to have his money. OG, your thoughts? He said, absolutely, I'm kneeling. I love it. Fight for your right.
Love it. Go ahead.
He said, "You think I give a like?"
Okay.
I mean, the thing about him, I mean, he's always been soft spoken. Never never flamboyant or never really in front of the camera all the time. So with him standing up and making a stance like that, I think it's going to open up more players like him. I mean, because I think a lot of the players, of course, they have feelings, they have thoughts, and they have opinions, and for them having a reputation of known to be quiet and not really speak about too many things, I think it's not only going to be impactful for him and his following and what he does, but I think it's going to open up more people to feel that way and express it. So I'm all for it. And like you say, just naturally, I don't know if anybody could be doing it for attention because
you're right.
At the end of the day, we're Black. So it's like, I mean, and we have a chance of being affected by what we're fighting for. So
I think time, as we were saying, tired boss. Tired, boss.
Yeah, because I used to be the same. I used to be the same way. I mean, a lot of things I didn't want to speak out on publicly because you worried about what people think or you're following. Now I don't care if I had 100 followers. Like I mean at least I know it'd be 100 people riding with me. So I'm happy about it. I mean, I hope, like I said, I hope it leads to more people speaking up and fighting for the right cause.
Go ahead, Tierra. Get in here real quick.
He can go ahead and be that role model to. Like, okay, so like you said, if it's other people who are scared to speak out, okay, he's speaking up, but you might have the same personality he got. So it might encourage others to speak up and do the same. So I think it's dope. It's really dope. It's great.
All right, good stuff. D-Dubs, your thoughts, man. Kyler Murray, absolutely I'm kneeling, and I don't give a damn what you think.
Not surprised. He's the quarterback of that football team. He's their future. He also has the backing of DeAndre Hopkins is on that team now. Larry Fitzgerald's on that team. Hopkins was in the video, so Hopkins is going to be right next to him, kneeling, and they're setting the precedence for the rest of that team.
I want your white colleagues, though. Jump in on this thing, please. Go ahead, Derwin.
I think they'll be right there. Those some of the offensive linemen be right there with him, going to stand with, kneel with him. So I think, I've been saying, don't be surprised if it's an all-team thing where everybody's on board kneeling for one cause.
Yeah. I like it, guys. Yeah, good stuff with
they better jump in if they want them rollies.
Okay. Yeah. That's right. You got to protect that asset with the starting quarterback. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on. And we saw those things when he said, I call it like I see it, and what we've been going on in this country, basically can't stand for it. Absolutely, I'll be kneeling. Very well spoken by the young Kyler Murray, the former Oklahoma quarterback. Let's go to another quarterback that's Black, that can throw and can run and do all those things. He is the reigning MVP. Absolutely. Still looking for that first playoff win, 0-2 in the playoffs. Cover of Madden. Great week for Lamar Jackson. This story, we saw this a couple of days ago. We didn't get a chance to mention it yesterday. Was playing some sand, some flag football or whatever, on Nerf football on the beach. Got tackled pretty much by a sea-doo, a jet ski. Boy, I mean, you look at the video, we're showing it right now. Pretty scary stuff. Words for Lamar Jackson. I love you, LJ. Stay off that, dude. You don't need to do that, man. Protect your body. It is a money-making machine, dude, and you don't want to get hurt like Robert Edwards, the running back from Georgia, was with the Patriots at a Pro Bowl, was on the beach volleyball. I think he was doing some sand stuff as well. Tore up his ACL, was never right the same. I thought about Tom Brady. You think about his run in New England when I was in Boston, could do no wrong. One thing that did raise the Patriots' eyebrows with Belichick and the management when he jumped off that cliff. And he threw his daughter off as well. Remember, he was with Giselle. Wow. So got to be careful with some of these high-risk, sort of activities. We'll start with you, OG. What do you think about Lamar and the jet ski?
I mean, you gotta. I mean, you obviously you know what you're worth to not only yourself but to a lot of different people. I mean, and I know it's a hard thing because I mean, at the end of the day, you still want to be able to have fun and do some of the things you want to do, but at the same time, like I don't know, that's a lot. That's risking a lot. I mean, you know, from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet is why he gets paid to do what he does, and you don't want to see any harm come his way or anything like that. So I mean it. I think it'll wake him up and he'll be fine after. But I mean you never want to see athletes because we've seen a lot of tragedies
Right.
before some careers even started, and and you just don't want to see that. I always think about Jason Williams and what he could have been in the NBA. If
White chocolate.
if he just would have left not Jason Williams from
He
Duke.
got drafted. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got
He played with the
drafted by the Bulls, I think.
Yeah, he got drafted by the Bulls.
Yeah.
And it was
Jay Williams. Yeah,
Jay Williams.
Yes.
Yeah, you said Jason. I'm like, huh?
Yeah,
Jay Williams.
I was talking about Jay Williams. And we never got to see his I mean, because I don't like a lot of Duke players anyway, but I mean he was one of my favorite ones, and to see him go down like that, and a ton of others, and just you just don't want to see that or anything close to it.
Yeah, Durbin, your thoughts?
Man, I know Harbaugh was on the phone with him after that video surfaced.
On edge.
I mean, he's the franchise. You know what? And I believe he was wearing flip flops. I'm not 100% sure, but he can't get hurt. He's got to be more careful. I know he's 21 years. I think he's 21 years old. He wants to have fun and hang out with his buddies, and he wants to play ball.
You're different, dog.
He worth too much, dog. He goes down, they're done. Because RG3 can't do what he does. You know, that changes the whole complexion of the AFC and the power. So he's got to be more careful. I mean,
you slow him down. You slow him down, he's a totally different quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, let's see he gets the middle capacity, to read defenses, and I think he will, but he's not there yet. So it's not like he's going to pick you apart mentally. So it's like, dude, you lose those legs? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a wrap. Duck. Tara, your thoughts on when you saw the jet ski video?
So I'm a Steelers fan.
No, don't come on here and say you're rooting for.
So I'm a Steelers fan, but he's a great quarterback. I got to give it to him. He's the GOAT. That's just what it is. Like I'm a Steelers fan, but I'm also a sports fan, and I give props to where it's due. Like you guys said, he has got to be careful. He's the franchise player. RG3 is his quarterback. That man had one good year. We haven't seen anything from him since. So it's just like you got to be careful. I understand you're young. You want to have fun, like you said, hang out with your buddies, but you got way too much to lose. Like you're worth so much, and I think sometimes he might not understand how much he's worth and like what he stands for. But yeah, he got to be careful. And even as a Steelers fan, he's the GOAT. Like I love to see him play. Like if I ever had a chance to interview him, I would, even though I'm a Steelers fan. I don't like the Ravens, but yeah, he's definitely dope.
Let me give you some advice. Once you get into this business, you become a professional. You got to put that allegiance to the side.
Exactly.
Talk to any and everybody.
Everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, good stuff.
I even talk to Tom Brady.
Go ahead, bro.
Hey, Larry. And also, the fact that you're on the Madden cover, dog, you don't want to be doing nothing. You just need to chill out for a whole year. Just relax. Don't risk anything right now.
The only thing they should be, look, I heard, I guess they were saying he was throwing a Nerf football or whatever, and what happens is he takes the wrong stumble or tumble, his game will get nerfed in 2021, and it'll get, they'll bring it down. We're talking video game terms. So, Lamar, you want to be about buff, dog, not nerf. Buff, not nerf. So we'll see what happens if Lamar learns his lesson. Look, he's a great kid. I love the attitude.
Love it.
Infectious. I want to see him do well. And I know he will. So it's good stuff with that. So we'll move on. We're still talking NFL real quickly. Coach K, Todd Zill will be calling in any minute now. He said he called in maybe a minute or two early. I'll be on the lookout for that. We'll put him straight through. You guys saw the mock-ups of these COVID-19 special helmets. I saw the Chicago Bears one, and it was crazy. I mean, it looked like, I don't know if it was Darth Vader meets Stormtroopers, a motorcycle bike helmet. Tara, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on these COVID-19 helmets? And that ain't gonna fly.
So I haven't seen it, but I definitely heard about it. I have a couple of friends in the league, and they think it's the dumbest idea. Like, I mean, what? Like, I don't get it. Like
We're gonna show
you
the picture
can't
right now with the Bears if you can see it. I don't know if you got your phone, but yeah, it's pretty cool looking actually.
you
But
can't
it's
you
not
can't
practical.
protect. Yeah, it's not realistic to me. But hey, do what you do. It's the National Football League. They kind of can run with whatever. So
Well, they've got these deals with Shutt and these other helmet manufacturers, right, Dell or whatever, and yeah, I don't know, OG. I mean, I get what they're trying to do.
The
I
funny,
Just can't.
understand
I
the
thought it was
concept.
Photoshop. I thought it was photo. To this day, I still don't know if it's believable. I don't know if
Mm.
it's true, OG. Can you independently verify that that's the real helmet right there? Well, I saw the picture that we're showing with the Chicago Bears. That thing looks
I
like
can't
Photoshop.
do that, but what I can tell you, RIP to face mask penalties.
Okay.
Yo, yes. I was thinking the same thing.
Because you definitely won't be able to grab onto a face mask. I mean,
And if they call it, we know it's definitely gonna be BS.
yeah,
'Cause
I get it. I get it during the times that we're in and everything like that. But it's like, hold up. Like, I mean, if we get to that point, it's like, should we even be on the field? I mean, I just don't. I don't know. It's like, is it gonna have some type of oxygen device in there? I mean, 'cause it's definitely closed off, and I don't know. I thought it was crazy, but first thing I read, I was reading comments, and that was the funniest comment I read about the, RIP the face mask penalties. But we just have to wait and see. And like I said, I think it's, of course it looks innovative and everything like that.
Yeah, this is not okay.
Due to what we're going through, but at the same time, I don't buy it.
Well,
I can
don't
never
even
read
think
this.
I don't even think players can go out there with a face mask. Like, I'm at Walmart, I'm like, man, I can't wait to
I
take
can't
this
wear
daggone thing off.
I mean, you try to wear that in Miami, and it's hot as.
Hey,
how you gonna breathe?
Denver? Yes.
Oh man.
You at war? You at war with yourself? Like, I mean,
you already can't breathe in Denver as it is, and you want me to put on a face mask? Not gonna work.
Go ahead, Derwin.
I mean, I just think it's like you said, Larry. I hate wearing mine. I hate breathing through the stupid thing. I can't imagine 3 hours with that thing on. And then being in some of the games in hot weather. How would you even? It'd just be uncomfortable.
I just thought about something though. You're on the field. Okay, you got this helmet on. Then when you come out of the game, when it goes from offense to defense, and the offense is coming out, what's the first thing you do in football? When
take your helmet off.
Take your helmet off. So like, it's not like they're gonna take their helmet off and then jump to and put a mask on or anything.
You're gonna see guys take the helmet off in the huddle in between plays, trying to get some fresh air.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's like, okay, it looks cool, and I guess it makes news of the day. But then when you really think about it, it's like, what's it gonna matter when everybody takes their helmet off on the sideline and they're sitting there talking to each other, talking about the next series going over it? Like, I mean,
nobody wears. I don't see any of them on the sideline with their helmet actually on their head. So I'm just trying to figure out what is it's not realistic, like y'all said. It's not practical.
Is the NFL gonna make guys on the sideline wear masks?
They're gonna try. They're gonna try. I guarantee they probably would try.
Todd says he's on, Coach K. All right, let's go ahead and bring in Todd Zeal here live here on Esports Extra, the only live call-in sports show on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, and YouTube. We'll take your phone calls 877-853-5247. Meeting ID is Esports Extra. That's 377-678-9872. At the pound button twice to join the show. Let's go ahead and bring in Todd Zeal, Major League Baseball catcher, played with the New York Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, Cardinals, to name a few. Colleague of mine at SNY, does the pre and post game show for the New York Mets on Sportsnet New York, SNY TV here in Manhattan. Todd Zeal, good Thursday to you, kind sir. How are you?
I'm good, Larry. You keep going on those teams if you want. I got about 5 more if you want to take some time.
Absolutely. You're a good player, man. Had a career year with the Dodgers. I remember back in the day, 31 bombs with the Dodgers. Of course, played with both New York teams, man. I wanted to get your thoughts here. Major League Baseball, what are your thoughts here? 60 games proposed by Manfred and the owners. Now the players came back with 70 games. Tony Clark saying, hey, we did not have an agreement. That was just a proposal. We talked. Manfred said, well, we met for hours, a whole daggone day. That was my thought. It was an agreement. Where do you stand here with this proposal, the latest one, about a dozen here in the last couple of weeks, Todd?
Yeah, you know what? This is really the first time, I think, for me personally, that I feel like Manfred and the owners have a bit of a legitimate, I wouldn't say a gripe, but at least a discussion point, because I think at least both sides came out of the face-to-face meeting, which I think was critical, by the way. I think, we know the new normal being on Zoom and looking at people through a phone or a computer screen. And there is a lot of effectiveness there, but there is something about being face-to-face when you're doing negotiations like this. And I'd been involved in them for years when I was a player rep. And there's nothing like sitting across the table from that group of owners when you're trying to get something hammered out. So I think that was critical. I think the news coming out of that was that there was a framework for a deal to be made. I don't feel like either of them said, hey, this is time for another proposal to be made. I think there was a framework. Manfred thought that framework included 60 games. And then Tony said, no, hey, we're going to make a counter offer. And I think the frustration lies for Manfred with, hey, this wasn't an offer. This was a framework that we worked on together, not necessarily an offer. So why are you submitting a counter at this point? But look, at the end of the day, I think they're going to work it out. I think it maybe fall somewhere in between that. But I think there's some stresses on Manfred and ownership because it was a stretch to get to 60 at full prorated. And I didn't think they wanted to go a lot further.
Well, you look at it, Todd, and we're talking here to Todd Zeal, former Major League Baseball catcher, SNY TV, pre- and post-game show host of the New York Mets, live here on esportsXTRA. Todd, you look at it, 65, 70 games. I mean, those games, the difference right now, people might scoff at it, but it's almost $250 million is the difference now, which is pretty much Steven Strasburg's contract. How do they kind of close this gap? I think you just mentioned it. I mean, 60, 70, call it 65 and call it a day, right, Todd? Am I crazy?
Well, it sounded like right coming out of that meeting, it sounded like there was a lot of positive goodwill from both sides that this was going to get done. And I thought it was going to maybe end up around 66. And it sounds like now Rob was saying, hey, that 60 was not a low number that we were utilizing as a proposal to have countered. That was a stretch for me to get to that number. So, look, every game is revenue for the players. I think the players obviously wanted to play more games, get more of the season for a lot of different reasons. I think there's probably a few details to still be worked out regarding this extended playoff format, especially since it dips into 2021 as well. So there's some things to be done, but it sounded like, at least coming out of that meeting, that they both felt like there was, the framework for a deal to be made. And now it's just, getting some owners that, frankly, don't want to play any games this season because it benefits them more to not play games than to play games strictly financially. And they don't want to be known as to who they are. They're certainly not coming out and saying, I, owner X, Y, or Z, are all for no baseball. So they want to hide behind that at some level, but that's absolutely true that there are some owners that would rather not play. So there's a resistance on both sides. That's what makes a negotiation, something that is to be negotiated. I think both sides have to look at this and say there's going to be some sacrifice and we're not going to all get what we want, but let's find something in the middle and get baseball going so that we can try to forget about this and protect the integrity of the game, which I think has already taken some shots.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at it, I mean, why not just go 64 or 66 games, keep it even, and call it a day? You mentioned those owners. We're hearing anywhere from 4 to 8 don't want to play. And if you get more than 8 or more, now you're looking at possibly not even potentially getting this passed with the owners during that vote. So I want to ask you about the MLB start date. They were initially talking and targeting 4th of July weekend. Of course, that's 2 weekends from now. That's not going to happen. Now we're hearing July 15th, maybe the 19th. Todd, if you get past the end of July, they can't finish before October, which Dr. Fauci is saying, guys, don't play baseball into November. And plus, I don't think Major League Baseball wants to play baseball past October because now you got to compete with the NBA, the NFL, and potentially the NBA as well. Your thoughts on the start date? When do you think we will get baseball and when it will start and that target date?
I think they really do need to get something resolved quickly to be able to get 60 to 70 games, whether it ends up being 65 or 64 or 60 or 66, whatever that number ends up being. they've got to get something resolved pretty quickly. And I think, look, if you start after July 15th, it makes it more challenging to get that number of games in, but it's not impossible by any means. I mean, there's, year in and year out, you play 75 games or so after the All-Star break, or 70 at least. And the All-Star break is usually around the 10th, 11th, 12th of July. And you get to finish a regular season and go into the playoffs. Having said that, I think there's also some things that have been discussed to get more games in a shorter amount of time with, potential doubleheaders on weekends and those types of things. They've been trying to figure out ways to get as many games as they can in that set amount of time. So I don't think they're in jeopardy yet of not being able to complete a 65 game schedule and still have some room for playoffs. But I know, to your point, there's a lot of trepidation going past the end of October. And, early on, I thought that they might play into, November or beyond. And that seems to have dramatically changed because of the health and safety protocols.
Yeah, good stuff, Todd. We're talking here to Todd Zill, former Major League Baseball catcher, pre- and post-game host on SNY for the New York Mets pre- and post-game show. Todd, your thoughts, Major League Baseball DH, and looks like in this proposal we'll get the DH in 2020 this year and also next year, 2021. Where do you come down on the DH, man? Should it be universal and make it universal in both leagues? Your thoughts on that? I'm a proponent of the DH. I'm tired of watching the pitchers hit, Todd.
See, you and I are on opposite pages on that. It's a pain in my heart right there, Larry. I've got to tell you. Look, the universal DH, I can understand the rationale for implementing it this season. Maybe into next, I wish they wouldn't, because it feels more like, hey, let's pretend like it's still a trial next year, and then surprise, surprise, all you fans out there that hate the DH, we're just going to implement it a year later. So, look, I don't like it because I like some differentiation in between the leagues. I like the managers of a National League team to have to know how to manage a pitching staff, and I also like the fact that, there is some advantage to some of these guys that are, pitchers that still can handle the bat or get a big hit or help themselves out or get a bunt down or help drive in a run or something, or fight with their manager about staying in when, he wants to pinch hit for him. I think that's a part of the game that strategically a guy like myself, who is essentially an old guy and a traditionalist at some level, and a guy that, has learned to accept that analytics rule the game now, but don't necessarily think that it's always 100% accurate, because I think there's still a human element. I think this is another one of those things that creates a human element that I will miss greatly if it disappears completely.
Todd, I didn't take you for a get off my lawn type of a guy. You're not that old, Todd. Come on now.
I'm not that young, though, Larry. I'm old enough to have been through a couple of work stoppages years and years ago, and my first salary in the big leagues was $67,500 prorated.
Yeah.
So, it's changed a bit in my time, and I've been through a couple of eras. And look, I love the game. I don't begrudge any player for getting what they can make today. I think the fact that media and just the attention to the game and the fans attending has built it, as it has, created great revenue streams for all the other sports. So I have nothing against the modern day player, and I'm not one of those guys that says, "Oh, back when I played, that was the golden era." These guys are great athletes. They're bigger, stronger, faster, and more fit, 12 months of the year than we were. And I still love watching the game. I just would rather be watching the game instead of talking about how they're trying to figure out a way to, get through the money decisions that make up some of the issues.
Yeah, good stuff, Todd. And yeah, I mean, 67,000, man, we're talking about that's a bucket full of big league chew or some sunflower seeds. So yeah, that was back in the day. Last question before we let you get out of here. We thank you for joining us. Your thoughts on the 2020 Mets and how this shortened season can sort of help them and how it will impact the Mets. I've talked to Nelson Figueroa and also Jim Duquette about this. I want to get your thoughts on the New York Metropolitans heading into the 2020 season.
I think it can help them. I think, look, they've got a team that's got a core of young guys that, really gelled at the end of last season. They've got obviously some great potential to drive in runs and to produce runs, because it's not just a feast or famine type of offense where you got to wait for all the guys to get hot at the right time to be able to score runs. McNeil gets on in all different ways. Rosario has greatly improved his on-base percentage and his ability to drive in some big runs. Nimmo finds a way to get on base. So then you've got the thumpers behind him with Alonso and Conforto and maybe Cespedes in the lineup to do some damage. So I think offensively, I think this suits them, because I don't think they have to wait till halfway through the year and all get hot at the same time to produce runs. And then at the other side of it, they've got great starting pitching, and great starting pitching is something that never really goes into slumps. It finds ways to get to that bullpen. And even with Noah out, which I think is a huge move, Brody was efficient in the offseason and got some depth in that starting rotation. Now you got Porcello and Waka filling out that rotation. And I think Stroman's going to finally just kind of settle in and not be overamped and have a solid year. So I like their makeup. I think we're gelling at the right time at the end of last year. I think they got a lot of confidence this year. And you know what? Hey, it's a sprint now. So just sprint for those 50 games and see what you can do.
Yeah, and the Mets, of course, finished the season 10 games over 500, got the 86 wins. A shortened season next year or this season. I like what they're doing. And, with the added playoff teams, if you get, 14 maybe teams, add a couple in the National League, maybe 7 or 8, I think that's a good recipe for the Mets. And, of course, at SNY, we're definitely rooting for them. Todd, we really appreciate it, man. Stay safe out there, man. I hope to see you soon here in the studios here in Manhattan, brother.
Anytime. I hope I'm back there soon as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Todd. Be well and be safe. That is Todd Zeal, former Major League Baseball catcher, also third baseman, played with the Mets, the Yankees, also played with the Cardinals and the Dodgers as well. Good to have Todd on. Guys, want to get your thoughts on what Todd had to say? Major League Baseball, we got these proposals out there. Nothing etched in stone, but we're looking at between 60 and 70 games. I think they get this thing done. I was saying yesterday, 24 to 72 hours, so that puts it by Saturday. You guys' thoughts? I think they get it done by Saturday, no later than Monday of next week.
I think that, he talked about some of the owners really don't want to play.
No, there's like almost 8 of them, which is scary.
Right. And I was watching a program the other day, and I think that the guy made a good point that some of these owners are okay waiting another week or two. Because if they wait another week or two, you can only get like 52 to 48 games in. Yep. And that's what they want anyway. So they can stall a little bit if they wanted to.
Wait them out.
Because you know what? No concession money, no parking money, no ticket money. These are businessmen. They're not like the players who love the game. The players that live for this game, they're dying to get back on the field. These are businessmen, and they're looking at that dollar. So if they can save some money by not playing some of these extra games, they're going to try to do it.
Tiara, let's come to you. Your thoughts, Major League Baseball. What are you a big fan? And go ahead and unmute yourself, Tiara. Are you a fan of Major League Baseball? You want to see it back? Your thoughts on Major League Baseball and the latest dueling proposals, 60 to 70 games. Where do you think those will go?
I have a baseball team. I like the Red Sox, but
there you go.
70 games is just a bit much. It's just too much. That's just my thoughts on it. I'm not really a big baseball fan, but I'll watch it. I like the Red Sox. But like you were saying, the owners don't got no money. They ain't showing no money, so they okay with delaying the season. Because like I'm looking at it, it says July 19th is when they're trying to start. When it was, like you said, the 4th of July weekend. But now they're pushing it back. So it's just like, how far are you going to push it back if you're even going to have a season?
Yeah, you start if they start. I'm telling you, right, Derwin. If they freeze them out another week or two, now you can't start till August 1st. Because it takes them 3 weeks of mini spring training, and not only that, they need probably a week to start arriving at their park. Right. So now you're looking at 4 weeks. Do the math. You get the 1st of July. They can't start to August 1st. Now they've got 2 months to get the season in. And that's 50 games, folks.
Yeah, that's it. These are businessmen. They're not millionaires.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I honestly believe that's what's going to happen. I mean, and like I said, I like Derwin pretty much nailed it. I mean, because really when you speak on the athlete's point of view, yeah, it's for the love and also, getting paid for what they do. But the owners, on the other hand, if nothing's coming in, they're gonna shrink it as much as possible to make things work from a business aspect. So I really, that got me sold now that I think I honestly believe that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you look at it, we talked about it, the difference between 60 and 70 games, that's $250 million. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, you're looking at that's what, about $2 million per team. But that's $2 million they don't have to spend by doing nothing. So, I mean, there's a reason why these guys are billionaires. There's a reason why these guys are billionaires. They can count.
They know what
They
they're
get.
doing.
They look. They just. I mean, look. We're not billionaires and billionaires, but you know what? I don't waste a lot of money on things.
Right.
You know, I know how to count. You know, it's debits and credits. Damn it, we talked about it.
Hey, I had a
Keep it
meeting with
moving.
one. I had a meeting with one this morning, and definitely that's the talk. I mean,
I always got more coming in than going out. That's just simple math. It ain't hard.
right.
So good stuff. All right, let's go back to the NBA. We're going to talk about this a little while ago. Lakers heading down to the bubble. We're looking at, I want to say, players have until next Wednesday, I think, right, Derwin, the 24th, if they're going to opt in or opt out of the season.
Right.
We'll get into some of that here in a second. You look at Avery Bradley, the guard for the Lakers, and you look at Dwight Howard. Now, the Lakers are pretty confident that Dwight Howard will play, or at least they're thinking he will. A little less certain or uncertain if Avery Bradley will play. Of course, Avery Bradley's been one of the voices on those calls with the NBA Players Association. He's been like the second guy behind Kyrie Irving. What do you think here about the Lakers, man? And will we, just like Ennis Cantor said, remember Ennis was saying, he said this on, I think, national TV last week before he came on our show yesterday. He's hearing some big names, all-star caliber players on certain teams that will not play. He said, don't be surprised if you see 2 or 3 guys that won't play. He wouldn't divulge, and I didn't push him yesterday to get it out. Maybe we should have, because he probably would have blurted it out if we pushed him harder. Your thoughts on this? We'll start with you, Derwin. Lakers in the bubble.
The Lakers in the bubble. I mean, right now we're going through this pandemic. We're going through, social unrest, and some people are feeling, and I definitely feel this. The opportunity is now. This is a movement that's a freight train is going forward. You're seeing people shell out money to the cause. You're seeing white people getting on board. Kneeling has become acceptable. You see Aunt Jemima
For the
coming
first
off the
time,
bottle.
a majority of people actually agree with it.
Yes,
Yep.
and you're seeing a majority. We're seeing students at universities wanted to get the halls of change on certain buildings. You're seeing statues come down. You're seeing the Confederate flag away from NASCAR. And I just mentioned Aunt Jemima's coming
Jackson,
off the
Mississippi, for the first time, I think, ever, it's 50-50. It's like 46-46, removing the last Confederate symbol from the state of Mississippi's flag.
Yeah.
Of all
So
places.
yeah.
Of
So
all
this
places.
is
Of all
this is-
places.
yeah. So this is a time where I was telling my wife this yesterday. I mean, you can have just about anything you want right now.
Yes.
And you might as well seize the opportunity. All the change that we've been begging for, been wanting, get it now.
We're not even asking for change. We're just asking for the norm.
The norm, equality. But now
we're not asking for more.
But this is the time now, because 4 years ago,
Yeah, you're right.
kneeling was not acceptable. It was outrage. Everyone was outraged. Now
You know what was outraged? You know what? And I saw a good column today. Sorry to interrupt. We need more diversity in newsrooms. We need more diversity on TV, in esports. Faces and voices to lend to the cause, because we know this. We knew this back in 2016. This is not right. Stop it. We're not going to let you guys co-opt this thing. It's got nothing to do with the flag. Stop it. We need more of that. And you need more decision makers also in management in these newsrooms, and also running these esports orgs and corporations as well. Go ahead, Derwin. Sorry, I have to jump in.
So basically, just to wrap it up, so you're going to have some players going to feel like this is bigger than basketball. This is bigger than, finishing out this season. I have a bigger cause. I have a platform. We got to go get it now, all the way to, to election time. You just got to go get it. We got to go take advantage of this opportunity right now and get that voice out there and commit to change.
Derwin, these players are finally, well, I think they've always realized, but it's good to see putting this plan into action. They realize we've got a powerful platform here. We are, as a group, as a collective, we're powerful. It's just like a union.
Right.
One voice, man. You guys all get behind this. They can't stop you.
They can't.
I don't understand that. Like, I mean, we went through it. I talked about it. I gave you that, example when we were in the media in Boston. It's like, where are main anchors? We can't do this and fight the nation and the union without you guys. Finally, they get on board. Things change.
Right.
Your thoughts on this, OG King Kurt?
I mean, I think I had mentioned this yesterday or on Sunday. It's like we have too many people speaking on things that they know nothing about, and they don't know what it feels like. They have zero experience. So a lot of these players are feeling are they they feeling it. And I think enough is enough is like the perfect phrase to describe the moment that we're not only that we're in, but it's what we've been going through. And I think now is the time where I think a lot of pro athletes, entertainers, people of all walks of life are looking at what's truly important to them. I think we've looked at a lot of people looked at their craft and what they do and the revenue that it generates. And now you get to a point where the world has, at one moment, it stopped. I think that was at a time where people can say, what I'm doing in my career is not more important than the world issue that affects people that I know and could eventually affect myself. So I think, like Derwin was saying, like now is the time.
Yeah, and Tierra, we were talking about this. Tired, boss. Enough is enough. Tired of being sick and tired is another one. Your thoughts here on the Lakers and the bubble, and what do you think? You think Dwight Howard will play? Will Avery Bradley sit it out? Do you think any other stars might not show up in Orlando?
Like Derwin was saying, right now it's time. I feel like out of all the, every time something happens with the police and somebody in the Black community, we protest. But this time I feel like it's actually making a change. Like y'all said, statues are being taken down, Confederate flags are being removed. You have people who you never thought that are speaking out. So now is the time. I think Dwight, he might play. Avery, I don't think he's gonna do it. I think he's gonna stand behind what he believes. Right now is not the time for basketball because that's what some of them believe, and they're gonna continue to fight the issue.
And you look at Dwight Howard, I knew this, covering him. I've got this All-Star shirt. This is All-Star Orlando 2012. As soon as I moved there, they have the All-Star game in Orlando. And when I met Dwight, I realized that his uncle is the prosecutor.
He was there.
In Atlanta.
Right.
With the Richard case down there. So that's his uncle. So this is in his bones. And also dealt with some personal tragedy, too. One of the mothers of his kid died recently as well over the last month or two as well. So I don't know about Dwight. It seems like all the reporting says he probably will play, but if he doesn't, I totally understand it. And we'll see where the chips fall, man. But I want to support all of these young men and women that want to stand up and fight for social justice, racial justice as well, and get behind the movement. And speaking of young ladies fighting for the cause, let's go ahead and talk about our very own Renee Montgomery, two-time WNBA champ. We've spoken with her many times.
Throw it up for
her.
Throw it up for
Throw it up. Hey, Thierry, come on, throw it up. Hey, get it back up there, Derwin. Get it back up there. Throw it up for. That's right. Two-time couldn't be here today, but get your guys' thoughts. Renee Montgomery sitting out the 2020 WNBA season. We'll start with you, Ivan. Shocking news. I wasn't totally surprised because she sort of leaned in on this the last 2 or 3 shows by basically sympathizing with Kyrie Irving's plight. Start with you, OG.
I mean, in such a short time, we've developed a great relationship, and we've talked about a lot of different things, on the air and off the air. And I felt inspired because, when somebody chooses to put an end to, or put a certain stoppage to what they've been doing the majority of their life, to fight for what they believe in, you can't help but to respect it. And I had texted her. I was on my way to the bathroom, and I seen the ticker on ESPN, and they scrolled at the, because I'm excited because I'm seeing NBA 2K League stuff on there and everything. And then the next step it said Renee Montgomery, it will sit out 2027. I was like, whoa. So then I texted her, our group chat with me and her mom, and I said, when I thought I couldn't admire my sister anymore than what I do, I said, just look at you. and I put
What
the
up,
fist,
Snook and Diddy? Shout out to
Snook
Snook
and Diddy.
yeah, and I just put the fist with the heart emoji and let her know I had her back, and I'm just grateful that I've met her and that we know each other and our relationship is getting stronger. So I'm supporting her 1,000.
Derwin, we've seen this change, man. You can tell,
Yeah.
man, like it was not fake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's nothing fugazi about it.
Nope.
It's not hyperbole for her. She believes in this cause. She's out there passing out water in hot Atlanta
Yep.
every day, kissing babies. We make fun of it and we joke
Right.
about kissing babies. She's literally doing it. She's in the moment. She's in the fight. Dude, when I saw it this morning, I was like, oh, yeah, she's doing it. Then I said, no, dude, you knew what she was going to do. She
Yeah.
sort of playbook this. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
he did.
She gave us all indications earlier last
Hints.
week.
Yep.
She gave us
Mhm.
hints. We saw it
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, I was not shocked at all. I'm so proud of her. And you talked about her giving out water. I remember a couple of weeks ago, she talked about she likes to be in the mix. She wants to be involved.
She's a fighter.
She's a fighter. She wants to be involved, and hats off to her. I'm not at all surprised just getting to know her a little bit, and I am so happy for her because I know she's going to do a great job helping the cause.
Tira, I don't know if you know Renee Montgomery, but she's a permanent co-host here on the show. You're filling in for her today. And just what are your thoughts on knowing Renee and the stance that she's taking? We see these NBA players and Kyrie talking about it. Don't talk about it. She is about it today. Don't talk about it, be about it. And Renee Montgomery, two-time, she's about that life, Tira.
I respect it. You can't do nothing but respect it. That's all you can do. She's really standing up for something that she truly believes in. And like you said, you got a lot of NBA players, NFL players who are talking about it, but are you actually going to do it? So like Kurt was saying, this is something that you've been doing all your life, and now you're stopping it to fight for injustice and what you believe in, what you feel like the norm should be. You can't do nothing but respect it. I'm proud of her. Like you said, it's inspiring. It's really inspiring. So that was a good move for her.
I was texting her this morning, and she was letting me know. And she said she'll be back, of course. We hope to see her Sunday. We'll talk more in depth about this. But she did mention that she's doing some interviews with CNN.
Okay.
Also Yahoo. So she's got a lot of interviews lined up.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, Ashley Laotis, our sideline reporter for our Compete Forever Madden events. I hooked them up. She's going to do an interview with her this weekend that's going to air on the Black News Channel on Monday.
That's awesome.
So you'll see a lot of Renee Montgomery here as well. 704 number. Let's go ahead and just take the phone call, Coach K. We'll take your phone calls live here, 877-853-5247. Meeting ID, esportsXTRA. That's 377-678-9872. Let's go ahead and bring in the caller here live here on esportsXTRA. You're live here on the show. Larry Ridley here. Who am I speaking with? Hello, you're live on esportsXTRA. What's up? The caller on esportsXTRA. You're live here on the show. Turn your radio down. Or your computer. Hello, you're live on esportsXTRA. What's up? Hello. Hello.
Oh, well.
I guess.
We tried.
Okay. Hey, sometimes they call in and they just want to hear. I don't know. Maybe they just want to hear themselves.
704 is Charlotte.
That is
Yeah,
Charlotte.
it is.
Yeah. I don't know that number, but anyway, Coach K, if anyone calls, let's just put them through. We'll see if we can get them on. We got a free flowing situation here. Renee Montgomery. All credit to Renee. Anybody else got any final thoughts on this? We should definitely speak to her Sunday. I want to say this, Renee. I don't know if you're listening. I don't know if Snook and Diddy are listening. Renee, this is your show, baby. You break the news on your own show. That's what the stars do. Break it on your own show. One more time, guys. Let's go ahead and put up the A for Renee. We missed it last time. Shout out to my girl. All good.
Shout out to you.
Yes. Moving along here, we're talking about the U.S. Open cleared. We'll start August the 29th. Tennis Center right next to Citi Field, right off the 7 line right there. What do you guys think? U.S. Open tennis, no fans, but we do know some of the stars on the men's and women's side. They're like, what the heck are y'all guys doing over there in America? So what are your thoughts on the U.S. Open being open? I'm glad that they're going to, continue to move this thing along, and it's going to be open, but sans fans, without fans. Durham, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I do believe Serena's going to be there, correct?
Yeah.
Serena is going to play.
Okay.
We don't know about Rafa Nadal. Don't know about Arfed. I think Halep said she's not going to play.
Okay.
There are some people are like, we can't go over there because they live in different countries. So I get it.
Yeah. And that's going to be tough. You got a lot of good tennis players that are from different countries, so you don't know if they're going to be able to make the trip into this country.
Sure.
You don't know what's going on. Could it even leave their country in some places? So that'll be tough. But it's great that that's Serena's like second home, the U.S. Open. So it's good at least.
She's been stuck on what 22, 23 for
Yeah,
about
she's
three,
been
4
she's been
years
stuck.
now.
I think that monkey's been
2
on.
years, 3 years. Yeah.
I think that gorilla's been on her back a little bit, just trying to get over that hump. It seemed like every time she makes it to the finals, she runs into a roadblock.
Yeah,
Lately, and I think it's because of that number. But just her being there, maybe it will prompt some other prominent stars to try to make that trip to play in the Open, because you do want to have some star power here. But her being there is going to be one big draw.
I agree wholeheartedly.
A TV draw, even though there can't be any fans in the stands.
Yeah. I was there a couple of years ago. Got to see Serena, Sloane Stephens. Got to see those play Joker as well. So look, it's going to be a great feel. Look, the U.S. Open is all about the nightlife, playing at night, the raucous crowd, celebrities, and things of that nature. OG, your thoughts, man? U.S. Open, baby, Tennis Center in Queens, right next to Citi Field, man. It's a great event. Guys, no fans this year, but next year, man, let me know. I'll get us some tickets and we'll go, dude. It's a pretty cool event if you've never been to it. OG, your thoughts?
Okay, can't wait for next year if that's the case.
Right.
No, I mean, of course we want to see sports, and I mean, tennis is unique because it's not a contact. It's not contact. It's probably the most social distant sport.
Sport you can have.
Yeah, besides golf. So it's definitely something that I think should happen. I definitely I want to call this an adjustment period. I don't want to call it the new normal or anything like that. I mean, we're gonna make do obviously with what we have and what we get, but let's just call it we're making adjustments and just in hopes to prepare for fans being able to get back into arenas and stadiums and different things like that and watch what we love to watch. So I'm definitely I watch tennis. I mean, I don't say I watch every round. Of course, if Serena or anybody like that is playing, I'm locked in. But so I'm definitely happy that they are going to continue. And not only that she's going, like somebody of her stature is saying that they're going to play. I think earlier when we in the year when we talked about tennis, when the pandemic first started, Nadal he's been adamant about tennis not even happening. So I mean, I won't be surprised if obviously people from other countries even play, but it's good, and I'm sure the tennis enthusiasts are be excited to watch it no matter what. So I think it's great.
Good stuff. Shout out to the folks on Mixer.com. Doing a great job, man. We got the check mark on Mixer. Thank you.
Definitely appreciate you, Mixer.
Yeah, absolutely. Kiefer and all those guys, Linux out there, man, hooked us up, man. We got the check mark. We're verified on Mixer. They're putting us on the front page. Jay Bird, 205-2404. Salute to you, brother. Thank you. We are spitting facts. Absolutely. Blythe, what's up, bro? Angry Council, you too. Woody Cartel. Yep, what's up with you? Yep. All these other guys.
Shout out to everybody out watching on Mixer, YouTube.
Yeah, White White Clown. This is not fake. This is a real show. We actually do a real show. We're talking esports and traditional sports. People have talked about it for years. We about that life, dog, and you can call in the show. That's what we're doing.
That life.
Terry, your thoughts on it? Go ahead.
No.
Ladies,
Terry.
Yeah, Terry, go ahead.
Hey guys, I'm back. I'm still here.
That's good.
I think it's great that she's willing to play. It's gonna kind of be weird with no fans, but like Kurt was saying, tennis is one of the most social distancing sports, besides golf, that's out there. But and as far as the other tennis players not being able to participate, some of these countries are on lockdown, so they can't even come in or out. So it's kind of gonna be hard. But I'm excited that it's still happening. I do watch tennis sometimes. I'm not gonna say I watch it all the time, but if Serena is playing, I am watching it. But I'm excited. I'm glad that some sports are still actually being played, because my life without sports, y'all, is boring. Do y'all hear me? I've been sitting in the house watching reruns of basketball. I didn't watch the Lakers and Celtics finals about 4-5 times. I'm looking at old college football. Like, I've been bored because I'm a sports girl, so I'm used to watching it. So the fact that everything was just on pause was just, but I'm glad, No, I watched the tennis match. It's some sports, so I got it.
We gotta get you. We gotta get you up here to New York, man, and hang out with us, man. Once we
I'm
start traveling and doing the
definitely
shows
ready to
again,
come.
yeah,
Yeah,
we gotta
definitely
have
ready
you.
to come.
But look, you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. You gotta be about that life, man. You gotta
Oh,
go.
I'm about that life.
What does Belichick say? What's the number one ability? Availability.
Yeah.
Available. I'm about that life.
She better be ready, but she better leave that Boston jersey at home.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm a Lakers fan, but when I was in Boston, I wanted to fit in because I'm a sports fan too. So
Hey,
that's what I
my,
wanted.
my last two kids were born in Boston. I spent 5.5 years there. You can always rock Beantown. The thing I got to ask you though, since you're repping Boston, can you park the car? And have you been to Fenway Park? Do you know anything
Okay,
about Harvard Yard
so
and Dorchester?
I don't know anything about Boston.
Okay.
Okay, it was very cold. That I
Yeah,
do know. Boston was very cold, but
you
I
were just
love
there,
TD
what, in
Garden.
February or March, right? March, right?
March.
You
Yeah, I
you were
was there
there
in March.
literally like the last home game I think they had
Yeah,
before COVID.
I literally had to get the HR department literally called me to tell me to go get tested because all the COVID stuff was going on. So that
Holy
was pretty
cow.
scary. That was pretty
Yeah.
scary. But I was cool. I was fine. But yeah, it was really cold there. Boston was fun. I love TD Garden. I would love to go back. But I knew I couldn't walk up in there with some Lakers stuff
Yo,
on. I might have would
don't
have
do
got some
that.
stuff thrown at me. So I would
Yeah,
have to come fit in with the Boston.
don't do that. Yeah,
I
you
know a
made the
couple
wise.
players, so
Yeah, you made the wise.
yeah.
And you know my boy Drapes. He's the pre and post game host up
Yes,
there,
yes.
NBC Sports Boston. So good stuff. Salmon Meteor 706. Yeah, we are cool. I agree with you, brother. Trex Pecan 83. Y'all cool? Yep, you're right. We are cool. You cool too. Thank you for watching.
We appreciate it.
Cool
Yep.
beans. What's that?
Keep it moving. We'll start college football. Near and dear to our hearts, also HBCUs. We're going to be doing some things, hopefully, with this HBCU tour. We'll talk more about that at a later date. The first college football game to be canceled, the Southern Heritage Classic. Tennessee State University, Jackson State University. They usually play. I remember back in the day when I was playing, they used to play in Atlanta. They played Memphis. They've played in Indianapolis. It's one of those big, large, HBCU classics. They've canceled that this year. Your thoughts on this, guys? I mean, I hate to say it, this might not be the last football game, college football game to be canceled. Definitely going to hurt those two schools because I think they had like 50,000 fans there last year. So this is definitely going to hurt for the HBCU and the bottom lines of those two fine HBCU schools. We'll start with you, Tira. You go to an HBCU, Virginia State. What do you think about these classics in LA? Throw it up. And she's also an AKA. You can tell, by the way she carries herself. They got the
Yes,
nails.
I am.
Looking all purdy today. All
I am
purdy.
also a CIAA cheerleader. Well, I'm a former cheerleader, but
Oh, okay. Where'd you cheer at?
Virginia State.
I'm just letting you shout out.
I thought she was a ball player.
Oh yeah, I know.
I thought she was too.
I
thought she
cannot
played
play
ball.
basketball. I wish I could. That's why I just studied the game because I wasn't blessed with this.
You're always wearing Jordans and stuff. I'll be seeing your little Jordan collection and
That's
stuff.
that's just me. That's just me.
Okay.
But I'm sad because we at Virginia State we play Norfolk State in the Labor Day Classic, which I'm pretty sure is going to be canceled, postponed, whatever. It's just sad. Like I said, I love football, and the fact that the season is probably going to be not even cut short, but no fans are probably going to be in the stands. And speaking of, they already canceled one homecoming. It's just a matter of time before they cancel the rest. You know what I'm saying? So it's sad. It's sad. Like you said, those schools probably gonna lose. It's hurting them because that's a big game. So
Your thoughts,
depressing.
OG? Yeah, your thoughts, OG? No Southern Heritage Classic.
Oh yeah, I mean, I didn't. Obviously, I didn't attend college or HBCU, but the experience that is given at historically Black college games and events. I mean, I've been there, and I think when you talk about homecoming games and classics, it's like, man, it's not just a game. Like, so it's hard to think about.
It's a show. It's an experience.
Yeah, so it's hard to think about those events going on with no fans or anything like that. So and then when you think about it, it being canceled, like the revenue and everything that it brings in, like, unfortunately, like just like anywhere, but they need the money. Like they need and it's hurting. And
they don't have the large TV deals and things like that to fall back on. I look at SEC. I saw they're going to split like another 20-something million per school because of the new deal that they're trying to work out with ESPN to get rid of the CBS game. So like these schools, they don't get the print money, man. And that's why we're trying to bridge the gap in other ways too with esports. And we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. But you're absolutely correct, King Kurt.
Yeah, I mean, so that's it's heartbreaking to a degree. I mean, so
Very heartbreaking.
I need, I hope soon and very soon that at least um, a lot of universities and companies and everybody who's suffering right now through all of this can get some relief and be able to move on because I know some of you don't want a lot of this stuff to ever have to fade away. If this is the new normal that I definitely speak against. I mean, because people, is that is going to historically black universities is through some family bloodlines and generations and different
Definitely
things
through
like
mine.
that,
Sure.
and to be able to have to cut that part out
Mhm.
in some people's lives. It's just terrible to think about. I mean, like I said, I've enjoyed every classic, where back home, Central State
Central
University.
State, yes.
Yeah, I mean, they've had some dynamic football teams in the '90s when I was coming up, and then now they've been brought back and they play in classics and different things like that. So I just hate to hear it. Overall, I hate to hear it.
Let's hear from an HBCU alum, a graduate of Virginia State University in Petersburg, VA. Derwin, your thoughts? Southern Heritage Classic not going down this year.
Not going down. And I heard through a little birdie that possibly, I know in the CIAA that they're thinking about getting rid of the non-conference games coming up.
Oh,
Um, so you might start to see some of the other conferences start to do that, not play the extra unnecessary games, just playing games within your division for basketball and football. So, you know, a lot of the games in August and early September are
Will
normally
be
not
canceled.
necessarily
yeah.
divisional games. So if you can kind of cut some of those out and buy yourself some more time, hopefully the COVID, give you more self some
Well,
more
but you're
time.
buying yourself more time to get closer to the fall and the winter too. So it's like you damned if you do, damned if you don't. Actually,
Yeah,
because if you
and then
don't
when
play
you
those
Right.
games in September, then what do?
right,
Maybe you slide up the October games to September. I can see that, but you can't wait
yeah,
to October because now you're playing with fire then.
and if you're
And then
listening to
by
the
November that thing's hidden.
yeah, listening to the CDC talking to the NFL about you don't want to play, the NFL season unless you're in a bubble. I mean, some of these schools are in a tough pickle. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but if they can cut out some of the non-conference games and just play your divisional games and try to squeeze them in.
Let me ask you
So
this: what about this bracelet thing that the NBA is going to have down in the bubble? Did you guys see that? If not, we'll make sure we talk about it on Sunday. They got this bracelet that can detect if you got a fever or maybe starting to have symptoms 3 days before you actually get it. It's about 90% accurate. You know what? We'll have to
that's
get
some
into that, but
technology.
that could be something
And
that
on
maybe we can
Sunday
use.
to
Man,
talk about that one.
Yeah, we're gonna talk
what's
about
the
that.
ticket on that?
Yeah.
Like that's
I just saw it literally right before we came on. I'm gonna have to look it up again, but I read about it. I was like, wow, this is interesting.
Wow.
And I
Can we
wanted to
get
look at the rate on it. It was like, the success rate is like 90%. I'm like, hell, that's better than most things we have in life.
Hey, can we
Yeah.
get an update on the Apple Watch or something that can detect that light
Yeah.
on the other side of the watch? Has to be able to do something. Like
It's a bracelet, a watch, or something. But yeah. So we'll see about that. We'll go ahead and move this thing along because we got to get out here in 13 minutes. I told Tiara we would be done no later than 8:30. Her salary's a lot.
I
So
guess so. Some
yeah,
things
make
to
sure we get
do.
her out. Yeah, gotta make sure we get her out here on time. NBA
But I
2K
don't have a
tip
job.
off. Ivan, OG King Kurt, back on ESPN2 tonight with the quarterfinals. Your thoughts, man? Where we going, dude?
last night action pretty much cleaned up the first few rounds of group play. It ended group play last night. The Bucks came out of Group 5. Reg was pretty much the player of that group. He averaged 37 points, 8.8 assists. In Group 6, it was rather unique. Raptors Uprising went 4-0 and came out of the group as well. Kenny got work, averaged 39 points, almost 40, and 10 assists. But Gen G
How about
also
that?
finished 4-0, and they came out as the wild card. And Shifty Kai, he averaged almost 30 points, 13 assists. So they came out of Group 6. Group 7, Cavs Legion finished 3-1. Strainer was the player of that group. He averaged almost 28 points, 6.3 assists. So that rounded out the group tonight that's playing. Pistons GT is facing Jazz Gaming. Grizz Gaming and Kingsguard Gaming are playing.
Yep.
Those two games are playing at 7 right now. I believe Jazz Gaming took the first game. Kingsguard Gaming took the first game. On the late night games tonight at 9 p.m. is Bucks Gaming versus Raptors Uprising and Cavs Legion versus Gen G. So obviously, I think the Raptors are pretty much been the dominant team in our league.
Yep.
So far. I mean, I'm sure they're the heavy favorite, but I honestly believe it's going to be it may be a shocker here and there, but until that happens, we just have to see. You know, Raptors have been playing phenomenal. Kenny has been leading the way, very consistent all year. So there's definitely be some interesting games to watch.
Shout out to Web Riv. Thank you, man, for the comment. The lightning bolt. Yep, keeping it 1G, baby. 1,000, not 100, but 1,000. Tierra, your thoughts? NBA 2K League. How about the NBA 2K? Remember, I was talking about that when I spoke to your class. You got the NBA running this thing. It's on national TV on ESPN. Been there for the last, 4, 5, 6 weeks. They got a contract with ESPN. They're paying players. They get free. They get free housing, benefits. They get NBA check. Hell, they pay the broadcasters. We get paid with an NBA check. So this is a pretty big deal with the NBA. Your thoughts on esports and the growth specifically with the NBA 2K League?
When I was watching ESPN a couple of weeks ago, I did see it come on after a basketball game or something went on. I think it's dope that it's been since the season have died down that they have put that on TV. I see, and it's not just people who play basketball, because I've seen players who was on there who, you know what I'm saying? So I think 2K, but I think it's dope that it's on their passion. So I think it's dope that it's being broadcasted and they're being able to show their talents. And
I think we're losing your audio a little bit. You there, OG Durbin? You guys there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes,
okay.
yes, yeah.
Okay. Tierra, can you hear us? Okay. Yeah, I think audio might be going out. Let's go ahead and move to the next topic, guys. We got Good Trouble the movie coming out 2 weeks from tomorrow, July 3rd, and theaters nationwide. Also streaming services on demand as well. Good Trouble, of course, the movie documenting and highlighting the life and time and the career of the great civil rights icon John Lewis, current congressman as well. The movie comes out July 3rd. We'll be doing the celebrity stream HBCU takeover. That will be Sunday, July 5th, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to have a lot of celebrities. We're going to have you're going to have some famous people on there as well. We're going to have, a great time for you guys. We're going to set it up. We're also going to do a big voter drive. 704. Let's go ahead and bring them in, Coach K. Let's go live to the phones now here live on Esports Extra 877-853-5247 meeting ID Esport Extra. Hit the pound button twice to join the show. Larry Ridley live here on Esports Extra. Caller, you're on the air. Who am I speaking with?
Tracy.
Who? Tracy. Thank you for calling in. How you doing, Tracy? What do you want to talk about here?
Or Professor Jackson. Either one.
Professor Jackson.
Professor Jackson. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. Okay, I hear you. What's up, Tracy?
Tierra hasn't. A few things. First of all, great show. This is actually the first time, I probably shouldn't say this, that I've listened to the entire show.
Good for
I've
you.
listened, but just not the entire show. So this is good.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts, Tracy? What are your thoughts? You got your
I'm sorry.
here?
I'm trying to listen to it through my computer and talk to you.
Don't do that.
So a few things about the U.S. Open. Number one, I'll go back to that. I think that I'm happy that they're having it. I'm sad that they're not having fans because I go every year. So this is sad. But Roger Federer, he isn't playing this year. He announced earlier this week that he had a setback on his knee injury, so he's done until the Australian Open. So I'm okay with it. Happy that Serena's playing. I think that, for her to be able to maybe get over the hump and get to 24 will be exciting, and I'd be excited to see it, especially if Simona Halep doesn't come and play, who seems to be kind of an Achilles heel for her. So that would be great. And also, so that was the first thing. But the other thing was I'm a product of HBCU. I went to Howard University, the real HU.
HU?
So, so the classics are a staple, for us, along with homecoming. Homecoming is huge. Our homecomings are epic, huge, always have been. And so I don't think that we're going to have it this year. I don't think that. I think everything is going to be minimized, not minimalized, totally and completely this year. But getting rid of those early games, those 4 preseason games for schools like FCS schools, especially FCS schools that are in HBCUs, it's
Like
financially, it paralyzes you financially because that money gets distributed throughout the rest of the athletic department. And so if that happens this year, you hope that it's only for a year and that they're able to kind of cover and understand that there's going to be a deficit with that. But so I think it's detrimental, honestly, to programs, FCS, small Black colleges, but also just other 1AA schools that may not have endowments and big revenue coming in, through other means.
Yeah, absolutely. Tracy, before you get out of here, you want to say anything to the great Tiara Harrison that's doing a good job filling in for the great Renee Montgomery today, 2-time WNBA champion?
Yes, I think that what Renee is doing is amazing. I support that. Salute to her. I don't know her. My sister does, but salute to her. And Tiara, you've done a great job today as an AKA and as a VSU student. So job well done.
Nice. Thank you. Tracy, I really appreciate you calling in. Be careful down there. You're doing some great work at the Virginia State University, and we'll be in contact soon. Hopefully, we'll be able to still do an event down there sometime this fall, okay?
Yes, as soon as we know something, you'll know something. So, and you have to bring Derwin. I didn't know you went to Virginia State. You're gonna have to come too.
He was great. He's the sideline reporter. He's definitely on it.
I was so excited to hear that. I'm like, oh, okay, absolutely. Even though he was throwing all of the shade on Colin Kaepernick,
I just called in like I said.
That's a silent. That's a private conversation.
We can have it. We can have the conversation.
Oh no, we're not gonna have it. Not right now.
We definitely have to have that conversation. And Larry, you did not mention who's the quarterback in Miami. Like, come on. We did.
We talked about
There's some places he could go.
We talked about that.
Miami. They just drafted a quarterback. He's not going to Miami. And you can't go to Miami either when you wear a Fidel Castro T-shirt.
That is true.
You can't.
This is a temporary fix. All he needs to do is just get back into the league, see what he can do, and then we can move from there. He can play in Miami this year. That's
no, it's probably not the good spot because you got Fitzpatrick. You got Fitzpatrick, and you got Tua down there. So, Tracy, we really appreciate it. Tracy, we got to go because Tiara, she gets charged. I got to pay her by the minute. Okay, I got to get out of here. Tracy, good talking to you. We'll
Later.
talk to you soon. All right.
Bye.
Oh, professor at Virginia State University, Tracy Jackson, calling in. Yes.
Look at meet her.
Got a voice like Janet Jackson, looking like Freddie Jackson.
Stupid.
No, I'm just joking. I like to say that to everybody that's named Jackson. Good to hear from Tracy. Tiara, your professor called in, your former professor. What do you think about that?
She's still my professor. I have another semester with her.
Oh my gosh, you got another semester with Tracy Jackson?
I do. Pray for me. It's like I'm just
I am, yeah, man. Hail Mary, man. Absolutely. Just for you. Yeah, absolutely.
And get some credits for this.
Yes. No, really, right?
Larry, fill out the paper.
No, I met Tracy. We were at the NASCAR event. NASCAR, they did some diversity and inclusion event down at the NASCAR headquarters in Daytona, and I met Tracy there, and we got together. Now we're going to start doing some stuff together at Virginia State.
Cool.
Spoke at her class, and good stuff. Last thing, we talked about Get Trouble the movie. We're going to end the show now. Compete Forever. Third week, episode number 3. We started June the 6th and the 7th 2 weeks ago with our first episode. Got to deal with Black News Channel, national TV network. You can get it on Comcast Xfinity, Charter, Spectrum, and as well as Dish Network. This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, both times, Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Black News Channel. You can see our Madden NFL 20 Electric City Classic from Schenectady Rivers Casino. Once again, that's Saturday, Black News Channel, Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Eastern on Saturday and Sunday on the Black News Channel. Compete Forever Madden NFL 20 Electric City Classic from Rivers Casino in Schenectady. So, guys, any last thoughts before we get out of here, man? Great job, great panel. By the way, you guys bringing the information today. I really appreciate that. Tiara, any last thoughts?
No, thank you for this opportunity. It was fun. Like, I like stuff like this. I like sports, so it was fun. Thanks,
Well,
guys.
I mean, what do you think? You think you can do this? You want to do this? We're
Oh
on
yeah,
3 days
I
a week.
definitely could do this. I definitely could do this.
You gonna study up and you want to bring it?
Yes.
Well, we know you got some contacts. You know, a good way to get on the show is say, "Hey, man, I got this guy. He can come on." I'm just giving you some hints. I'm giving you some hints.
Who you want me to bring? I got some people.
You tell
I got
me.
some people for you.
You
Okay.
tell me who you got.
We can talk.
Name one right now that we can get on. Who you like?
Who? What you mean? Like that I know that would do it?
We'll come on the show. Yes.
And
they can just call in.
Cannon. Huh?
They can just call in too.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll get some of them to call in.
Okay. Like who? Give me one.
We got
name.
Trent Cannon.
Okay.
He plays for the Jets.
Yep.
Quinn Spain, who plays for the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
Of course, Javonte Green, who plays for the Boston Celtics. Got a couple people who probably could call in on the show.
Okay, here's the deal. You've got an assignment. I need you to find somebody, okay, by Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. You got 2 days, all right?
Okay.
Find somebody and tell me who. I'd like the NBA player. That would be good because we just had on Ennis Cantor yesterday. That's in the news. Or the Buffalo Bills player might be good because we talked to him about Jake Fromm, the immortal Jake Fromm. That's better than Colin Kaepernick. So we'll talk about that. But let me know who you got, and we'll definitely we'll get you on Saturday. Then you can ask me questions and drive the discussion. Is that cool?
Okay, we'll chat.
We'll chat. OG, Ivan, King, Kurt, what you got, baby? Last thoughts.
Great show.
Damn good show today. Tierra was bringing it.
Yeah, and it's Tierra, right?
Tierra.
Yeah.
Tierra. I mean, great having you on. I mean, you fit right in. So yeah, I'd love to have her back if she's willing to come back. And I'm always at home when I'm here with my bros. And Renee, you keep fighting the good fight, and we got your back. And I'll be calling sometime soon. And like I said, shout out to Mama Snook and Diddy and
Snook and Diddy. What up, baby?
And just make sure everybody, if you haven't, the OG 2 Cents podcast, my last episode was with Renee. We had a good time. We talked about a lot of different things. You can catch it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and and Anchor. So just enjoy it, and see everybody on Sunday.
Absolutely. Durham Worrell, sportscaster extraordinaire, Virginia State University alum. Trojan horse rolling through. What you got?
I'm happy for Renee. I'm proud of her that she's doing her thing. Happy to see another Trojan on this broadcast. So that's a beautiful thing. Just all in all, been a great day talking about sports. Talked a little bit about Kaepernick, but it was just a little bit. But yeah, great day, and looking forward to next month to try to get some sports in as far as the NBA, NFL. I need my football.
From God's ears, from God's
I need
lips
football.
to your ears. Yeah. From your lips to God's ears.
Yeah. I need some football. So hopefully, we can get this COVID under control and get back to a little bit of some kind of normal.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Bro Force 5, man. We thank you for joining us. Brandon, 204-18. Just Brandon. Thanks, man. You said hi. And NBA season will be coming back. The players have to opt out by next week if they're going to play or not. Next Wednesday, I believe, June 24th. I know Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic are on their way back into the country. Looking at those guys starting around, what's the start date for the NBA? July 30th is what we're hearing. So they'll have some sort of camp, get to Orlando probably in the next 2 weeks. But they have to decide if they're going to opt in or opt out to play this year by next Wednesday. So that's the final thoughts on that. Guys, been a great show, great panel. You guys are awesome. Tierra, we'll look to see you on Saturday. OG, Derwin as well. Coach K back there pushing all of the right buttons for Tierra Harrison, Ivan Curtis, Derwin Worrell. I'm Larry Ridley. Thanks for watching esportsXTRA, the only live call-in sports show on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, and YouTube. We'll see you again Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So long and good night from the tri-state area, New Jersey, Brooklyn, Manhattan, and down there in Petersburg. See you again Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, right here for more Esports Extra.